Hey, how's it going everyone? GC Performance here, back with another video, and today I have for you guys my Velobuild VB-R-218. This is my full-on review of the build process, the ride quality. It took me a little bit longer because I actually want to ride on it to know how it feels. But this is my first time actually riding one of these bikes for like a budget. The whole bike itself, of the frame and the handlebar and the seat post, everything included in the bike is $500, which is crazy to me. I mean, I work in an industry where I actually sell bikes by big name manufacturers, so $500 to me seems unsafe. So what I want to do is I want to buy it. I purchased it with my own money. I had it shipped here to me. I built it up with a cheaper Chinese group set, the Sensa Pro 2x12 group set, and it cost me all around $2,000 with the retail of everything. There were some hiccups with the build, which we'll talk about in the future, or talk about in a little bit, because I was able to record it. And also I got the ride quality in today. I had a couple rides in there, but today was the last one I did. I did about 20 miles today at 1 o'clock in the middle of Florida, and it's dead hot. And it's dead hot right now too, that's why I have the sunglasses on. So my first off impression with the company of Velobuild, I reached out to them to do a build video on this bike. I said, hey, I want to do this. Would you guys offer me any kind of discount? You know, pull the YouTuber thing. Would you guys send it to me for free? They said they're not looking to do anything like that right now. They said the only thing they could do is offer me a discount of off the shipping, which the shipping was, I believe, $100. So I was like, sure, I'll take it. I bought the frame that I wanted. They didn't have my size that I wanted. I usually choose a large. I'm about 6 feet tall. I wanted to choose a large with a 42 by 110 stem. They didn't have a large in stock, so I went ahead and I chose the medium size. I chose a medium size with the same kind of setup, 42 by 110. And believe it or not, that setup right there is how I rode it, and it worked pretty good. Just keep in mind, I'll show you guys a close-up in a second, but the spacers that are on that bike right now, that's full stack as it comes out of the box. I didn't cut it, that's all you get. So if you do want a little bit more of an endurance ride, or you do want a little bit more relaxed geometry, make sure you get the right sizing. They have all the geometry charts spec'd on their website so you guys can take a look. But I got the bike within 7 days, shipped right to my door. It came very well wrapped with the frame, the fork, the handlebar, the stem, the seat post, all the bearings for the headset, all the spacers you need, everything you needed that was there, which is very nice. This is a frame you can choose either gloss or matte. I got it in the matte finish, so that's pretty much paint ready. So when you get these frames here, they look just dull matte black as is, like a raw carbon, but it's literally paint ready. You can take it, you can spray paint it, you're good to go. You don't have to do anything else, so you can add your own little touch to it. The model I got also does come in a BCA version. So this is not a BCA, BSA. This is a threaded bottom bracket, but I did have a little bit of issue with that. But overall experience with getting the product to me, very easy. I was actually really surprised, especially with today's economic crisis, of getting product from China over to here, which everyone's having kind of time delays. They got it here within 7 days. I think this shipping was $100, but still, to get it that quick is really nice. Build process of it. Building was a little different. Not actual the build process, like there wasn't anything that I saw. It came with everything I needed. It came with the seat wedge. It came with the wedge for this handlebar and stem. It came with everything you needed. But I ran into an issue, which I'll post right now. All right, so the first issue we'll run into with this build, as you can see on this crank, we have this line right here, and here. Those two lines. That's from, you can see, that's from bottom brackets installed. But really deep inside here, you see that little rivet popping right there? That makes contact with the crank spindle. So when you put the crank in there, it's literally rubbing against there. So I now have to file it, or probably I'm gonna take a Dremel to it and Dremel down some of this rivet that's sticking through right here because this BB is poured so high. Because the crank does not spin freely when you put it in there. So the solution to it, we're doing a file, and we're just kind of filing it down. So basically what happened in that video was the rivet that goes underneath the bottom bracket, they left excess carbon on there and excess material. So I had to file it down to make the bottom bracket fit with the crank spindle. Because as you guys saw, it was literally, as I'm spinning the crank, it wasn't spinning freely. The crank was binding and there's pressure against that crank axis or axle like this. So we had to take a file to it, shave it down. After that was good. Another issue was there was a bunch of paint or a bunch of unfinished material on the threads of the bottom bracket. So screwing in the bottom bracket, it went on very, very rough. I actually had to go at it a couple times, kind of take like a little poker, a fine poker, and chisel at it to make sure that it fit. After that, carefully going back and forth with it, it worked really well. It is a standard threaded bottom bracket. It's not an Italian threaded bottom bracket. So build like that was very easy. Another difficult part was running a 2x12 mechanical disc brake system through an integrated bar system. This bike model by Velobuild, their VB-R-218, literally has all the cables run through the handlebar, through the stem, integrated through the head tube, everything like that. And it is a mechanical system, excuse me. So there's 4 hoses total going through there. Big pain in the ass. I'm the mechanic who did it. I hated it. If someone brought me this frame, I'd probably tell them no, I wouldn't do it. It's not because of the fact that it's just this frame. It's just running 4 cables integrated through a handlebar, stem, and frame system. Sucks. So yeah, it's definitely it definitely wasn't a fun time, but everything kind of came through. But regardless of that, first initial impressions of Sensa on the bike and me actually riding it for a while, that's my first time riding the Sensa. Absolutely phenomenal. The shifting's crisp. It's dead quiet while riding. The cassette and chain hold up. I put a couple sprints on it. I think I got about 900 to 1,000 watts each time I sprinted. Speeds around 18 to 25 miles an hour. No problems. A little bit of cable adjustments, but that's fine. That's any kind of mechanical group set. Only downside is the disc brakes on here suck that came on the group set. Everyone said in my video that I did about the Sensa group set, which I'll talk about I'll post a video of it right here when I unbox the Sensa. The disc brake calipers on the thing are absolutely horrendous. They're worse than a rim brake bike. Actually, I think a rim brake bike is even better. It's like I squeeze the brakes, and it's like literally like someone's like blowing hot air in my face to slow me down. I almost hit a car because of the fact of how shitty they are. So those disc brakes suck. The group set itself are great, but I believe that with the Sensa Pro you can get different upgraded disc brake calipers on there. Because these are a cable mechanical pull system, you can swap out the calipers yourself to whatever you want. So that's not a big deal. But yeah, overall in terms of the build quality and after it was done, solid. Everything felt solid. I didn't have any issues with it. Very nice. But now it brings me to my next point. Ride quality. And I need to stress this a lot to you guys. Let me tell you where my background's coming from. My father's owned the store that I worked at for a really long time. I grew up riding bikes. I started riding bikes like 10, 11, 12, doing MS rides and stuff like that. Not willingly. My dad just put me into them to get going to it. Then I found my stride once I got into my teenager years and stuff like that. But I've been riding bikes for a very long time. I went through a bunch of group sets, 105, Ultegra, Durace, Electronic, everything like that. I've been through a bunch of different bike brands. Quintanaru, Trek, Specialized, we sold all these at our store. And I rode a lot of super bikes, S-Works, Madones, Amandas. I've ridden a lot of super bikes. And here, I hope you guys need to understand this. This by no means is a super bike. I have a Tarmac SL7. The ride quality on it feels great. It's snappy, it's efficient. When I step on it, it goes. It reacts really quick. When I'm riding for long periods of time, it's very compliant vertically, but snappy horizontally. What that means is that the vertical compliancy when I'm riding, it feels comfortable. It feels like I can ride it for a really long time. They do their research on it. When it's out in the front of the pack, when they've done wind tunnel testing on it, you don't feel the drag on it as much. You feel like the bike's been in a wind tunnel, to be honest with you. I know people are gonna sit there and say, wind blows left to right. There's a difference. I'm not gonna lie to you. There is a difference. Whereas with this bike right here, riding it, I didn't have any kind of speed differences. It's just that the bike felt sluggish, if that makes sense. And I'm not dogging it by any means. If I rode this bike or my Tarmac SL7 in a group ride, will I get dropped because I'm riding this bike? No. It just felt very sluggish on the get-ups. It felt very stiff vertically. Like I'm saying, like this thing was like a backbreaker to me when riding. Like my rides that I was doing were 25, 30 miles at a time. It just, like when I got off the bike, it beat me up. And I knew that a couple times, so I compensated and put on some Vittoria 28C tires on here. Even that, to lower the PSI to 100 PSI. It still beat me up. So the bike itself is just a very stiff bike. It was sound, mechanically sound. It didn't make any creaking noises. It didn't loosen up. It didn't feel unsafe at any time. But it really did feel just like, it felt like an entry-level sluggish bike, if that makes sense. And comparing to, and even to like an entry-level bike by any other big manufacturer, there are differences between a rounded tube or entry-level bike compared to like a super bike like an S-Works or something like that. So again, by no means am I saying that if you buy this bike compared to my SL7 that you're not going to be able to keep up with me. Obviously, we all know fitness level plays a huge factor in that. There's people out there that are riding aluminum bikes in way better shape than I am, or a steel bike that are way better shape than I am, that will whoop my ass on a bike, up and down all day. No hands, no ass given guaranteed. I don't even know what the fuck I'm saying. But basically what I'm trying to say is they're faster than me, and I know that, and no bike will get there. What I'm trying to say is that it just felt different from what I'm used to riding, and I prefer the bike I'm on now. Even if it wasn't the tarmac, if it was a different bike at that same level, I know these companies have been around for a while, they've done the research, and they put out the time for it, and that. This bike just felt super, super stiff. Maybe it was just this model. Maybe I'm not saying compared to any other Velobuilds because I know they make different models, but it felt super stiff and very sluggish on the get-ups. Sprints, even taking off, when I was sprinting at like 20, I started my sprints at like 24 miles an hour and sprinted on it, even that, it just didn't feel like as like snappy to get up on it each time. The bars felt secure, the handlebar felt secure, the frames felt secure. So I wanted to stress that to you guys because I want to be as honest and transparent as I can to you guys. But to wrap this up, this whole build only cost me $2,000 retail. The wheels are $1,100. The frame is $500. That comes with the handlebar and stem. The group set is $500, and the seat was $100. So we're right around $2,000 USD for everything, for a badass looking bike. That is still a great deal for a bike, and it's a bike that you can still ride, do group rides with, get used to it. Your body will adapt to whatever you ride on there, and it's definitely a good bike to start off on. But I just want to be fully transparent of everything that I got to experience with this bike, so that way you guys know fully of it. Again, I have no relations to Velobuild. I just wanted to buy this thing and try this out, being that my experience in other stores as well. But at the end of the day, I was happy with it. If I spent $2,000 on this bike and it was my bike for that period, and I was a beginner where I maybe just wanted it as a secondary bike or a trainer bike, I would be very happy with my $2,000. That plain and simple. I mean, if let's say you want to up it a little bit and take off that group set and put on a different group set, I would still be very happy with it. So that's my conclusion of this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and if you guys have any questions, let me know down in the comment section below, and I'll talk to you guys later. Oh, by the way, this bike weighs 17 pounds 4 ounces and 7.94 kilos, just so you guys know, in a size medium, as is, pedals and all.